points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show for the final, one more road game to go on the season. Sorry, I was getting a little ahead of myself. The Jets dropping their third game of this 4-game road trip, 3-0 in New York to the New York Rangers. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Nice to have us all back together for a post-game show for the first time in a long time. I see people already saying the Jets are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Not officially.
So you're saying there's a chance?
No, I didn't say that, Ezzy. I'm just saying that they're not officially eliminated. Dallas has to get one more point, or the Jets have to not earn one more point, and that will officially eliminate them.
I mean, the Jets have been officially eliminated for like weeks, if not months. Yeah. But I mean, yes, it's technically not an elimination yet.
If the Jets were to win out in regulation, and Dallas was to lose out in regulation, and Vancouver was not to get more than, I believe, 5 points, and Vegas was not to get more than 4 points, the Jets could still qualify for a playoff spot. If you believe that's going to occur, I have a bridge to sell you. Gentlemen, good to see you both on this Tuesday evening. How are things?
What's up, boys? I think things are pretty well. Right, Dave? I think things are going relatively well. The weather still sucks outside, but I think eventually it's going to get better, maybe in like mid-May or something like that. But I actually thought this game, guys, wasn't bad. Like, the first period was a bit of a snooze fest, but, the Jets came out flying in the second period, and, it looked like, they might take the lead there, and then it kind of, the script kind of flipped, right? And then the Rangers took over. And the Rangers are a really good team. I've told you guys this before. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers ultimately come out of the East. Like, I realize we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, and there's some good teams, like that East is so deep. But I mean, if you get that type of goaltending, like Shesterkin, you kind of reminds you of Henrik Lundqvist in his prime, right? Like, he just gets in that zone. And it wasn't that long ago that he put up, 45 saves, something like that, 47 saves. That was in Winnipeg, if I'm not mistaken, right? Early March. So, I mean, it's also crazy, guys, that the Jets hadn't played at MSG since fall 2019. Like, that's just weird to say that. Like, COVID is, it's a time warp. We all know that. Time kind of stood still for a little bit there. But 2.5 years since the Jets had been in MSG, I just thought that was, when you really think about that, that's pretty bizarre. But yeah, no, overall, you got to be, fairly happy with, the way that you played, even though moral victories mean absolutely nothing at this point. But look, I mean, the Rangers are where they are in the standings for a reason, right? Second in the Metro behind Carolina. So yeah, the Jets aren't officially eliminated, but now they're as close to being officially eliminated. All it's going to take, as you said, Drew, is 1 point from Dallas tomorrow night. I think they're either in Calgary or Edmonton. They've got a back-to-back on the road in Alberta.
Yeah, the Rangers are actually now moving to a tie for first place in the Metro as well, with the win. They've now gone 180 minutes and 6 seconds since allowing a goal, something that certainly the Winnipeg Jets cannot relate to this year with their defensive struggles, Dave M. But I would echo what Ezzy says. I think he's onto something in terms of, the Jets. This was the best game, and that might be damning with faint praise, but this is the best game the Jets have played on this road trip. And from a future perspective, I think at this point, people want to see the Jets lose as much as possible so that they can maybe better improve their odds to whatever degree, to whatever percent, as it pertains to a draft lottery, which would be upcoming in a few weeks' time or thereabouts.
Well, I mean, I think what it comes down to is it's time to play the kids, let these guys rest up. I mean, whoever is dealing with an injury, let them take some time off and put those young guys in the lineup. I mean, we talked about it on Saturday's show, and I still believe it. I mean, look, you're not going to call anyone up unless it's under an emergency basis. I didn't even actually see Mikkel Burden at any point during the broadcast. I would imagine he wouldn't be backing up if he wasn't there, but
he was actually in a secret location, Dave.
Well, it's very unusual, right? I mean, it was funny because I'm watching and you kind of left scrambling trying to figure out what's going on, especially because on the broadcast they showed Connor Hellebuck out for warm-up. So it wasn't as if they showed Mikkel Burden and all of a sudden you see Connor Hellebuck and then he was out, and then all of a sudden he's like, nope, I'm leaving the ice. So he was in the building. We know he was in the building. I didn't see Mikkel Burden. The Moose were, of course, in Winnipeg. They were practicing. So usually they'd pan to Burden at some point. It's possible he was, somewhere. We know that in Winnipeg, the backup goaltenders generally, especially on the visiting bench, don't sit with the team. They sit on the way to the dressing room.
I think that's the case in MSG as well.
Yeah,
they sit beside the illegal curve photographers who they sit beside. Dave.
Oftentimes, that is a good point. As so, anyway, so it was just funny though because I was just like, do we actually know Mikkel Burden's there? Because we haven't actually seen him. But anywho, look, I think it's time to start playing the kids. I think it's time to give these guys a shot. And if you want to, I'm not gonna repeat all the points I made on Saturday. You just listen to Saturday's show, or maybe I will repeat them. But the point is, give these young guys a shot. Let Dylan Samberg play. Let Leon Gavanke play. Johnny Kovacevic. I mean, it's time. Like I said, they're not going to call them up before Carolina, and the Jets are playing again on Sunday against Colorado. So the Jets will finish off this road trip with this lineup. Moose are going to go on the road for 2, so maybe it won't even happen for this weekend. But then there's the Calgary game after Colorado, Drew?
No, you got Philly on Wednesday. You got Calgary on Friday, which is
then Seattle on Sunday,
and then that Seattle barn burner on that Sunday afternoon, which I find absolutely hilarious. They're making the Kraken fly. I don't know where the Kraken are before that game, and maybe I hope they're in Seattle. That they're making them fly all the way to Winnipeg to play that. It was like remember last year. Vancouver was playing all those meaningless games after the playoffs already started just for television purposes.
That was so stupid.
That was so stupid. And we get to do it all over again. I guess the only difference is that it's the playoffs won't have started in this instance. But, it is it was another, struggle for the Winnipeg Jets tonight. It's got to be no fun playing against Igor Shesterkin. Playing against him. He's just such a good goalie, and he's got such good control and positioning, and everything about his game is so simple right now that when he's dialed in like he was tonight, it's hard to score on him. And the Jets had their opportunities. I mean, the Jets had a number of chances. There were a couple of different breakaways that the Jets had, and I think, Zach Sanford who rang one off the post as well, if I'm not mistaken. So the Jets had their chances, but
what was weird about that one is, and they mentioned it on the broadcast, it looked like it was going to be too many men. So Zach Sanford comes on, and it almost looked like they were going to get called there, and then he just moved in, and he had so much time and space. Dennis actually thought it went in, and I was kind of expecting to maybe hear the that goal horn that comes from up above, right? But Zach Sanford came very close to making it 1-0 for the Jets.
Yeah, then alas, it didn't turn out that way. And then, once the Rangers are a very disciplined team. They're a very well-structured team. And when you look at that roster and you look at the team, when you have good defensive structure and you add in excellent goaltending, and then you add in offensive firepower, like they have, it's no wonder that the Rangers are atop the Metropolitan Division. It's no wonder that they certainly are going to be should be a tough out come playoff time this season. Let's get into the game recap, gentlemen. It's brought to you, of course, by our friends at Betway, one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront. With a large selection of betting options and sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds, what are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. Nothing happened in the first period. It was sort of refreshing. I tweeted that it's nice to see 20 minutes of hockey where nothing really happened, where the Jets weren't an utter tire fire, where it was just sort of an inconsequential 20 minutes. And that's certainly what you got in that first period tonight between the Jets and the Rangers.
Well, there was a period there. I don't know because my kids were running around. It was bath time. I've told you guys this. The 6 o'clock Central start
So
is
when they
is
so
what
how
I
does
hate
that
the
work?
most.
Like, do they bathe you together? Do they each take a turn? Like, does one work the back and one work the front? Like, is there a
Okay, just settle
routine?
down, Drew. You're getting a little excited here, but yeah, they bathe me with a rag on a stick. That's basically how it works, if you're asking. But I hate the 6 o'clock start. But anyway, so I was kind of watching it, but also trying to hide from my wife as well. So um, there weren't that many good scoring chances. I'll tell you that much. I think there was like a 7 to 10 minute stretch where the Jets didn't have a shot on net. I think they ended up with 6 shots on net. There was a good scoring chance from Kyle Connor. There weren't many from either team, but certainly the second period started off much better. Who was it that had a scoring chance right off the bat? I want to say it was Lowry and Appleton. Dave, you might remember better, but I seem to remember right off the faceoff, Lowry and Appleton had a decent chance.
They had that
But yeah,
same
that
chance in
first
the
period was slow for sure.
Yeah, and they had that same chance, almost to start the third period, Dave, where 8 seconds in, Mason Appleton had a quality scoring chance that would have certainly, at that point in time, it would have made the game 1-1. But he wasn't able to beat Igor Shesterkin, as nobody on the Jets was able to beat him tonight, Dave.
Yeah, Drew, it keeps coming back to that time we saw him playing here in Winnipeg, and we were like, this guy is pretty good. He's going to be something special, and he's maintained that. Ever since we watched him here in Winnipeg that game. So I don't remember how long ago that was, Drew, but that was
A few years ago.
That was a few years ago already. And he really has just taken that the mantle of top goaltender in New York and run with it. You know what? It was you're right. It wasn't a terrible first period by any stretch of the imagination from the Jets. It wasn't a terribly exciting one by any stretch either, obviously, as you just said. And the second it opened up a little bit more. I mean, you started to think, what do these guys have to play for? I mean, people say they have pride to play for, but I mean, they know what the score is, right? They know where they stand really. And I understand that these games have to be played, but it's just got to be just brutal knowing that it's just slogging through the last 5, 6, 7 games of a season with a 0.004% chance. And like we've been talking about, that flattered this team. Now, I was reading some of the tweets from our colleagues that are taking part in the post-game media availabilities, and it sounds like Pierre-Luc Dubois is quite perturbed at the way things are going. And I mean, you don't blame him because these guys are still professionals and they don't like to lose these games. So, the frustration will continue to grow in the dressing room, and I think that's probably why maybe you upset it a little bit by acknowledging like, hey, maybe it's time to put the kids in. But yeah, the second period was. I think what they did do though, and I think what this coaching staff is trying now is trying different combinations with the intent of seeing what you have for next year and what guys, the idea of moving Morgan Barron with Adam Lowry and seeing if Barron, Lowry, and Appleton can form some sort of chemistry over the last little stretch. I think there's value to that because, like I said, there's not a lot of value in these games. I'm not saying they're going to be as bad as preseason games. Because obviously, especially because the teams that are the Rangers don't want to take the foot off the gas because the truth is they've got to be geared up for playoffs, right?
The games against the Flyers and the Kraken might be worse than preseason games.
Sure.
And also, Drew mentioned it, right? Like I forgot. I thought they were still a few points back, but the Rangers and Hurricanes are now tied.
Right.
So
sure.
this game did have
Absolutely.
meaning for the Rangers. It definitely did not have anywhere close to the same meaning for the Jets. You can talk all you want about 0.1 or there's still a chance, but I mean, come on, guys. Dallas is, I'm pretty sure what do they have, 6 games left?
Yeah,
I think they're going to get 1 point in their last 6 games. I'm pretty safe in saying that.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with your assessment there, Mr. Ginsburg. I think you're probably right on something. My favorite part of the first period was the opening face-off, which was Lowry against whomever it was on the Rangers. I can't remember exactly. And then immediately there was a whistle, and then they went back and basically redid the opening face-off, and Kopp ended up taking it. And you saw the Jets bench. If you actually watched the game, you can see Lowry wins the face-off, and the Jets bench absolutely erupts in cheers, which I thought was the only probably entertaining part of the first period, which I thought was kind of funny.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we know, guys, Kopp was one of the most popular guys in that dressing room, right? Like he was a Jet for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, pretty cool to see before the game, right? Like you saw Kopp and Morrissey at center. They were laughing it up, right? And obviously Trouba knows a lot of the guys. So, I mean, that's the fun stuff that we like to see.
It's a lot easier to be Jacob Trouba and Andrew Kopp right now than it is to be any member of the Winnipeg Jets, given the struggles and the disappointment that this season has been. Nothing happened in the first, as we mentioned. The Rangers open up a 1-0 lead at the 15:57 mark of the second period. Morgan Barron is in the box with for high sticking. Ryan Strome gets his 18th of the year. Assist to Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin. And Big Stan, Logan Stanley, looks absolutely silly on this play because I don't know what read he was making or what decision he was attempting to execute, because he absolutely put his team at a disadvantage that ultimately led to the goal.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I thought as you frozen for a second there. I think he didn't. He had a bit of a rough game. I mean, there was a play in the first period where he had a bit of indecision at the blue line, and because he was caught flat-footed, it ended up being a chance against the Jets. And there was that play along the wall where Panarin essentially like takes the puck off of him and gets it in front for a chance. So I mean, I didn't think he had a great game by any stretch. And Drew, you're right on that goal. Not a wise play. And of course, not much that Eric Comrie can do with three of those guys bearing down, or two guys bearing down on him. And Strome makes a nice play to put it behind him.
And I'm gonna just back up and defend Logan Stanley a little bit here, because Logan Stanley steps up to make a play on Artemi Panarin clearly. Like, just to go a little bit deeper on this goal, I don't think it's all Logan Stanley on this play. Like, I was just queuing up the replay here. Like, obviously it's a 4-on-3. Like, there's an extra man. Dominic Toninato, if you're watching the replay, he's kind of not sure who he's taking here. So he's kind of trailing the play. And what ends up happening is Strome is there's two Rangers that are behind the Jets defense or penalty killers, whatever you want to say. So
is that bad?
No, but you know what I mean though, Drew? Like, yes, okay, Logan Stanley he's kind of caught in no man's land there, but he's at least trying to make a play there on Panarin. And I'm just saying, watch the replay. I'm just saying I watched
the replay. I don't look, if it's a 5-on-5 situation and he wants to step up there, then maybe I will, I'll listen to that. But in a penalty killing situation like that, I mean, first of all, I just don't see any benefit to the decision there. I mean, what's the best case scenario is you step up and, okay, that's the best case scenario. It's too high risk in my estimation. Then the reward isn't worth it. And I understand what you're saying, Ezzy, because I tend to agree with you that I'd rather see a player try and make a play. In that instance, I don't think that was the time. I don't think that was the place for Logan Stanley to try and make that play. He had a rough game. And if there's actually any accountability, remember, he got back into the lineup because Dylan Samberg had a rough game on Friday night in Florida. If there's any accountability,
Samberg's going to go in on Thursday night, I would expect.
I would hope so. I would agree with you. I would hope so, but I'm not entirely confident about that. Obviously, we'll wait till Thursday to find out. But
all I'm saying, Drew, is yes, it's probably not a good play, but just all I'm saying is go back, and I'm not saying for you, I'm saying anybody just watch. I mean, there was a lot. It was a little bit too easy there for the Rangers to get behind the Jets D. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's not that is not all on Stanley, that goal. That was just, I mean, that was too easy for the Rangers. And yes, it's a power play, and they've got a lot of skilled players out there, but that was I'm just saying, like, Dominic Toninato was a little bit lost there. He really didn't pick up anybody on that play either. So that's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. I can accept that, Mr. Ginsburg. That was the end of the scoring in the second period. So the Jets start the third down 1-0. And to the Jets' credit in quotes, given how the game went, given how they, their performance tonight was better than it had been in a lot of other games, the Jets pushed. And the Jets, I thought, played a half decent third period in trying to get the equalizer, and they had some opportunities. Certainly, I mean, you look at they had a power play early in that third period with Keandre Miller in the box for high sticking. Blake Wheeler had a good chance in tight. There were chances by Nikolai Ehlers. The Jets just weren't able to get anything by Shesterkin. And then at the 11:47 mark, Adam Fox gets his 11th of the season. Assist to Artemi Panarin. That's 70 apples on the year for Panarin. and Andrew Kopp gets his first point of the night for the Rangers, and it was 2-0 at that point. And Dave M., I really do not believe that the Jets expected or were going to have a chance to get 3 past Shesterkin tonight to pull out a victory after they were down 2-0.
Well, and the remarkable part about that, just before they scored, Drew, is that the Rangers had control of the puck like for 30 seconds where the Jets didn't touch it, and it looked like a 5-on-4, but it was a 5-on-5. And I actually had to kind of look at the scoreboard to make sure the Jets weren't trying to kill a penalty, because the Rangers, they cycled the puck perfectly. They had complete control. And then eventually, they beat Eric Comrie, who I thought had another strong game for Winnipeg. Unexpected. They said it. Dennis said on the broadcast he was the starter of the game. I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. But regardless, I thought Eric Comrie, he played solid for Winnipeg. I thought he made some nice stops, and that one beat him. He was there's some action in front of him, but look, the Jets just couldn't break the Ranger cycle there, and eventually it burns them. And so it's one of those plays that you just see. And I believe Josh Morrissey had lost his stick during the sequence. So it's not a 5-on-4 really, but at the same time, it's one of those situations where it's tough for the Jets, because if you're not going to be able to break their cycle, if you can't do it, well, things like this are going to happen. And sure enough, the Rangers, are just too talented to allow them to have that kind of time and space. And eventually they score one to make it 2-0. And you're right, Drew, at that point, you're like, okay, this game's over. 1-0 isn't, the Jets were getting their chances. Shesterkin was playing phenomenally though, but you still felt like the Jets could get something greasy. We talked about the Sanford chance that could have very easily ended up behind him, right? So there were even in the first period, there was that, who took the original shot? Was it DeMello took the shot, and then Paul Stastny was right on the doorstep, and Shesterkin didn't know where the puck was. So there were a couple of opportunities. That was early in the first period. So there were some opportunities where the puck could have squeezed through. The Jets could have had something greasy go against Shesterkin. But once the Rangers went up 2-0, you felt like, all right, this one's over.
It helps the cycle when you got a guy like Artemi Panarin. And they showed it on the broadcast where he's, his edges and his edge work. And I know his edge work is now the latest cliche comment in the hockey world, but it certainly was impressive watching him dance around with the puck on that sequence there, Ezzy.
Yeah, it was Andrew Kopp, Dave, that was battling in front of the net. I forget who he was battling with. Morrissey did lose his stick, and Morrissey was chasing Panarin, and then Pierre-Luc Dubois was chasing Panarin. And look at this, we know this going back to his days with the Chicago Blackhawks, right, guys? Like, he's one of the most skilled forwards in the league. Drew mentioned it, right? Like 70 assists. That's pretty absurd, actually, right?
Yeah, really
there aren't that many guys that ever do that in a single season, right? So yeah, Morrissey was, he was scrambling a little bit out there, and the Jets were in general scrambling. Like, I was almost like going to put up a shot clock, because it seemed like the Rangers had the puck in the Jet zone for like a solid minute and a half there. So Panarin did some really nice work. And then we mentioned, Kopp's got the big body. He's done that so many times for the Jets, and Adam Fox just, I'm sure Comrie probably didn't see all of it. But yeah, Panarin deserves a lot of credit for his work on that goal.
Yes, he does indeed. And then the Rangers put the icing on the cake with an empty net goal. Ryan Strome getting number 19, second point of the night to old friend Andrew Kopp. Chris Kreider getting the secondary assist that comes at the 19:27 mark of the third period into the empty net. A 3-0 final. The Rangers defeating the Jets tonight in Madison Square Garden. The Rangers certainly look like they're just tuning up for the playoffs. The Jets are tuning up to get their golf game ready. It'll be a very interesting garbage bag day in the next sort of 10 days or so from now. I guess right after May 1st. May 1st is that when that Kraken game is, and then garbage bag day will either be on that Monday or the Tuesday. But that's certainly all we really have to look forward to between now and then is just sort of some meaningless hockey, but it will be at least fun to watch a couple of good teams over the next week or so in the Hurricanes, the Avalanche, and then the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, and the Hurricanes, you guys saw, right? Freddie Anderson's going to be out at least a week. Yeah. Jordan Stahl's injured, right? So, they're still going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs, but you're right. The Hurricanes, the Rangers, the Panthers, the Lightning, like the last 4 games, or I guess the last 3 games, because we still have the Carolina game to come. These are the best of the best in the East. And I've told you guys this before, right? Like nobody seems to be talking about a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins, right? The Penguins have been there all year long. And I realize that, as of late, over the last however many years, 3 or 4 years, the Penguins have pretty much been like a one and done type of team.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you've got Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, like don't count them out, right? And not to mention like, Jake Gensel, and they've got a bunch of good players. So yeah, I mean, Colorado is probably the Stanley Cup favorite right now, and Calgary's playing really well. I think you guys would agree those are the top 2 teams in the West, but like you could make an argument for any one of the 8 teams in the Eastern Conference going on a run. Like even like a team like the Boston Bruins, right? Like the Bruins have been, if they're not the best teams in the second half, they're one of the best teams in the second half. Like Jake DeBrusk is popping them in left and right. He just scored his 23rd of the year, right? So the East is so deep. It's going to be so hard to predict what's going to happen.
Don't discount the St. Louis Blues out of the West either there, as the Blues winners of 9 games in a row.
Yep.
9-0-1. I mean, look, that
the goaltending scares me a little bit with St. Louis, but they're getting better goaltending. That's for sure, Drew.
That's certainly the case. It'll be a very interesting playoffs that'll begin in about a little more than 2 weeks' time. Maybe even 2 weeks from today when you actually consider it. It usually starts on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So it'll be coming up.
That's when we go team by team, division by division. That's when we shine, baby.
Something like that. We do something. I'm not sure if we shine.
And then I'll come in with my crappy predictions.
That's a tradition like
Drew,
no other. As
Drew, I can't believe you didn't give Nikolai Ehlers a shout out for his 2-pad stack. It was like road hockey that
I was
trying to
waiting
prevent that
for you to
empty
do it.
net. That was quite a play.
Thunder.
Okay, well, I mean, it merited a response. I mean, like of all the plays in the game, I mean, I thought his 2-pad stack was road hockey worthy. He could have played in the Rupertsland Hockey League.
There you go, Dave.
He was the best Jet. Like we didn't get that much into it, but like before Adam Fox scored, I thought Ehlers' penalty was very soft.
Yeah.
After the Rangers penalty, I realized like a lot of the time, like say, oh, you're Homer, you're just all Jets penalties. You guys are going to say aren't penalties, but like you could see Ehlers. I think even Paul Stastny, Dave, came. We didn't even get into the fact there was only one ref for the majority of the game. Yeah. That's not something that you see very often. But
I was actually going to tweet at scouting the refs, asking, be like, well, because the second ref actually got hit with the puck in the second period. So does that mean the linesman puts on the little orange band and he becomes the referee? Because at that point, you might be just down to 2 guys.
That would have made the game a little more interesting. It would have given us something to talk about if they're down to 2 officials who just are both combination referees and linesmen. That would be very old school, I guess. I mean, I'm trying to remember back when there was only 3, when there was just a ref and 2 linesmen. Mm-hmm. I guess they went down to 2 if the ref or the linesman ever got injured. They didn't have a backup on staff. I don't remember, but that's going way back, and my brain doesn't work as well as it once did. Thanks, children, for that. That is the Betway game recap. It's been brought to you by our friends at Betway. Imagine that. It's simple, fun, and safe to bet with Betway. So head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. We'll take a break. When we come back, more on tonight's Jets and Rangers game. If you have questions for us, throw them in the chat. Maybe we'll answer some questions in the second half of the program. Much more to come. We're not going anywhere, so neither should you. It's a Tuesday night. The Jets drop a 3-0 decision to the New York Rangers. Stay with us. It's the Illegal Curve postgame show. We're live on our YouTube channel. We're live on all of our social media platforms.
Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Jon Stewart, Dennis Miller, Brad Garrett, the biggest acts and all the up-and-comers. They've all made their mark at Rumors Comedy Club, North America's longest-running independent comedy club. Rumors has kept Winnipeg laughing for over 25 years. When was the last time you laughed out loud? Make it a great night out with friends or book your office or birthday party, even a fundraising event at Rumors. Get all the details and dates on upcoming shows at rumorscomedyclub.com.
He winds up. Oh, looks like Ezzy took that one right in the choppers.
A blistering fast puck hurts like HE double hockey sticks. That's why I let the pros at Linden Market Dental Center turn my yow into
wow.
Get your brilliant smile back with state-of-the-art restorative and cosmetic dentistry from real pros.
And remember, always wear a mouth guard.
Now that's solid on ice advice. Learn more at lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy,
relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Boys, finding parking on game day shouldn't take longer than the Minute Minute.
It shouldn't take longer than 1 minute.
Yeah, less than a minute? I spend at least 20 driving around to find street parking, or if I'm in a rush to the game, I'll shovel out 20 at a parkade.
You're both doing it wrong. There's this app called Grid Park. It lets you find and pre-book your parking spot on game days, and you can reserve your spot up to 1 month in advance. And guess how much you'll pay?
Tell me, Dave. You know I love a deal.
Ezzy, $5.
Come on, $5?
Yeah, and it's just 2 blocks from the arena.
The Grid Park app?
Yep, spelled GRYD Park. And you know what else?
There's more?
Our listeners get their first park free with the code FIRSTPARK.
Wow, so they just download the Grid Park app and pre-book their next game day spot for free?
Yeah, you got it, Ez. Promo code FIRSTPARK. Only on the Grid Park app.
Hi, it's Drew from Illegal Curve here. Selling your home can be stressful, but it wasn't for me. Thanks to my friends at Zappia Group Realty, they made the process so easy. My home sold within 48 hours and with multiple offers. Zappia Group Realty took care of everything with their exquisite customer service and attention to detail. If you want to sell your home for more in less time, get started by talking to Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty. Online at zappiagroup.com. For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the Illegal Curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. Dave's shaking his head. I know exactly why Dave's shaking his head. It's because somebody, no names mentioned, unmuted their mic before the commercial ended. Is that right, Dave M? Is that why you're shaking your head there?
That is true. So we heard a little bit of a snort. We heard some little echoing in the thing, but all good. We always like when.
Sorry about that. I thought I was muted there. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've been kind of fighting off a cold. Still no COVID though. I'm convinced that COVID just doesn't want inside of my body. Like,
well, that would be like a lot of things, but you know, the truth is that I think a lot of people are forgetting that there are things outside of COVID that you can still get a common cold. So I don't think that's that shocking.
Yeah,
I know
the old common cold.
I know a few people who are fighting it off. So no biggie.
I've been using the neti pot, Dave.
You've been using what, Ezzy?
Neti pot.
Ah, the neti pot. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It's getting those nostrils nice and clear. We appreciate that.
The neti pot works.
I hope you're not using it during in a microphone where people can hear you doing that. Just for.
I'm also using it as a bong.
Oh, you're also using it as a bong. Also that's also good. That's
how he actually delivers his weed.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good, Ezzy. I like that you're thinking outside the box. It's either that or an apple or a Coke can. So at least you're diversifying when it comes to your cannabis intake. One thing I noticed on the broadcast tonight, boys, as we talk about the Jets and the Rangers, the Jets losing 3-0. Good evening to everybody if you're just joining us. One thing I noticed is that they were running an ad, or at least maybe I saw one ad, maybe there were more, for Moose playoff tickets. True. Which I thought was certainly a little bit interesting because obviously,
get those antlers ready, Drew.
Get the antlers ready. Dave M doesn't have them with him. He's at his alternate location for tonight's broadcast. But
he's in the shrink's office.
So I do this show with these 2 baboons, and they drive me crazy.
But True North doesn't care where the revenue comes from. They'll gladly take playoff revenue. It won't be it's not quite as good as Jets playoff revenue, but playoff revenue is playoff revenue, and the Moose potentially could go on a long run. So obviously they're trying to drum up some support for the AHL franchise because I think everyone is fairly sick and tired of the NHL franchise.
No, I don't think there's any question about that, Drew. I think there's a lot of excitement. Of course, the only hiccup right now is that you don't actually know when the games will begin. Mm-hmm. First round is expected to start about the first week of May, but unfortunately, because the way the first round works in the AHL, where you get the team that finishes higher gets to choose whether they start at home or on the road. So it limits your ability to kind of make that determination until the playoff seeding is officially set. And then you get a chance to know when the games are. But yeah, there's a lot of excitement building. I mean, the players, I'm not going to turn this into a Manuk Moose Minute, lying, but you can tell because I've talked to a lot of the players after the games this weekend. And you know what? You can sense it. They're not looking past, the regular season. They know, especially like I said, they had a really dominant performance on Saturday. Like, it was incredible. They outshot Rockford 18-2 in the second period. So that was beyond ridiculous. And then the score ended up being a 3-2 game. Rockford scored with 3.6 seconds to go in that contest. And then Sunday, it was like watching a completely different team. I actually felt bad because we'd given away some Moose tickets in the IC zone, and it wasn't such a good start. Rockford came up flying. They needed to get the win because, of course, they've got Iowa behind them, chasing them. They're trying to chase Milwaukee, get into that third spot. Rockford isn't a very good team, I will say. Their goaltender, who's an undrafted Swedish guy, he's actually played really well both back-to-back games, but Rockford doesn't have a ton of depth. And some of the guys are up with Chicago right now. So anyways, the point is that the Moose just didn't have a great start. And Eric Dubois, who talked after the game, one of the things I've really enjoyed about this season is the Moose are rotating the coaches. So we'll talk to Mark Morrison, talk to him on Saturday. We talked to Eric Dubois on Sunday. Marty Johnson will talk. It's kind of nice that they rotate the coaches so you get a different perspective and you can ask different questions. And especially with all the Jets prospects on D, Eric Dubois is a great guy to get insight from. He's really an insightful guy. So he spoke on Sunday, and one of the things he talked about was the need for this team to be better on back-to-backs. I went back and look, they've been pretty good, but I think of late they have been a little bit loose in that regard. So there's no question, Drew, that they're going to be trying to drum up. There was a lot. It was a good crowd on hand. I want to say 3,500, 4,000 on Saturday. So Sunday was a little bit lower, of course, because it was supposed to be Friday, but because of the snowstorm, it got moved to Sunday. And of course, that was Easter Sunday. So I'm sure a lot of people had plans. But there's an excitement building, and you can feel it. Look, the Winnipeg Ice are I think they're close to selling out their first game of the first and second games, which start this weekend of their first round series. We have a preview of that on illegalcurve.com. You can read from Jake Maurice, who covers the Ice for us on illegalcurve.com. And then, like I said, shortly thereafter, the Moose are going to start their playoffs, and there's going to be a lot of excitement. Dylan Sandberg, Morgan Barron. There's going to be a lot of guys who are going to go down and play for the Moose that are currently up with the Jets. And like I said, this is a team that's ready to go and ready to roll. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
There you go. Dave M obviously dropping in a little bit of Moose talk for us on this Tuesday evening. I want to give a quick shout out to a new chatter. I haven't seen him before. Sean Reynolds, Brooding Pessimism. That's a very good name. It's giving Kenny's water bottle a little bit of a run for his money. So Sean Reynolds, Brooding Pessimism. If you're new here, welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. And thank you for bringing us some of that brooding pessimism, at least in a YouTube username format. Yes, Dave.
Last point I'll make. I do have a Lee Goren signed stick personalized to me. Lee Goren's a good Winnipeg boy.
Winnipeg boy. I won't say how I know him, but Lee, he did sign the stick. I appreciate it. Still have it in my house.
Is there a story regarding how you know?
No. Just a family connection, and but I mean, he's one of the top scorers for the Moose at 1.0. I think he's fourth all time in scoring. So he was a prolific scorer at the AHL level, and really nice guy.
He was a prolific scorer for North Dakota.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yes,
he's a good really good hockey player.
At the college hockey level, you're absolutely right about that, Ezzy. A lot of questions coming in. I asked questions about thoughts, things they wanted to say. Somebody here in PLD, he's always here. Should the Jets let Kevin Cheveldayoff choose the next Jets coach? That's a good question.
I don't think any of us are letting Chevy. I mean, Chevy is the general manager of the hockey club. I think Chevy will choose the next head coach.
I tend to agree with you, Ezzy. I'm not sure if he should after this many years, but I earlier in the year, I thought that he probably wasn't going to stick around through this disaster of a season and into next year. But my latest feeling, and this is just a feeling, I don't have any particular insight on this or anything, as some of you might be thinking. I get the impression that I do believe that he'll probably still be the Jets general manager this coming off season and into next year. Should he be? it's a different story altogether. I don't sign his paycheck, but I do get the impression that he's still going to get another coached hiring, which is, look, we should all have the job security that Kevin Cheveldayoff and so far Charlie Huddy has had in their career. We'll see if that continues for one or both of them. You can keep questions coming. We'll probably take some more of them on Thursday after the Jets and the Hurricanes. Ezzy, Tough Duck, hardest hitting comment. Who are we giving it to tonight?
We're going to give it to Dom Zappia. I mean, Dom is here. We know we go way back with Dom, obviously, from the famous Zappia family. He's here for, I want to say, if not every game, almost every game. You've got the comment up there right now. I like it. Jets were solid tonight. If they could have played like tonight during the season, we would have been in a playoff spot. Got to give the guys credit for not quitting. And we talked about that right before we went live here, guys. Like, yes, I mean, entering this game, the Jets didn't have much to play for, except for obviously the 0.00001% chance of making the playoffs. But that was what I said to you guys was like, or maybe right before Dave popped in, before we went live, like that was just like an honest effort. Like I thought, like for the most part, that was what you would call a cliche 60-minute effort. And even, the Jets were, still playing hard after they went down 2 goals. Right. So I like that comment from Dom. So send me an email, Ezra@illegalcurve.com, Dom, or send me just a direct message. I think we follow each other on Twitter. If not, just send me a direct message on Twitter and send me your address, and Tough Duck will ship out a toque to you.
There you go. Congratulations to Dom Zappia, the winner of tonight's Tough Duck hardest hitting comment here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. We only got 5 more toques to give away. The real question is, will you still need a toque at the end of the regular season come May 1st? The way things are looking, it's quite possible, but at the very least, you can always use it next year. So don't miss any of the post-game shows.
The snow better be off the ground by the time that last game comes around against the Kraken, which is what, May 1st?
2 weeks. Yeah.
The snow better be off the ground, because I mean, it's enough at this point. I think I speak for all Manitobans, everybody living on the prairies. It's enough.
And I'll just quickly follow that up by talking about the potholes, because mama, they're at, and again, I put this on Twitter today. I feel like they're at an all-time like low right now. Like it is, my brother shredded 2 tires driving. Like it is crazy. Like you're dodging, you're weaving, you're bobbing. Like it's actually dangerous, of course, just from a damage perspective. And
haven't they started filling them yet, Dave? Like they usually start filling them in April at some point, but I guess because of the snow, maybe they haven't filled them yet. But
I don't know. I'm not sure, Ezzy, what they're doing, but right now, whatever they're doing, they're not doing it well enough, because that tweet I sent earlier seemed to resonate. A lot of people started saying, you should see this area, you should see this area. And it's embarrassing to be a city. And I understand the weather challenges that Winnipeg faces, but like, I don't know, guys, like it really doesn't seem very difficult to fill it in with a little bit of a little asphalt or something, because it's embarrassing to drive down Kenaston, major route throughout the city. And it is like a landmine. It's brutal. So anyways, that's my one segue for the night.
2 things. One, it's supposed to snow more tomorrow. So
yeah, I know.
It's not going to snow that much.
Any snow at this point is too much there, Mr. Ginsburg.
It's going to melt.
And 2, Dave M., how fast was your brother driving over the potholes that he managed to shred 2 tires at once?
Drew, it wasn't just him. He was on Jubilee. I believe like 6 cars ended up in BDI, and it wasn't because they were looking for ice cream. It was because they all had their tires shredded on Jubilee. So I think that I'll give Dan a pass on that one. I don't think he was going very fast. I think it was just that a lot of people had their tires shredded in that spot.
When you drive a Rolls-Royce Phantom, obviously, you're not going to drive at 35 kilometers an hour. You're going to, be driving that thing 70 clicks, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yes, yeah, that's true. You got to take that whip to the right way,
It's I see Jason and I think Jet Oil Tom also were saying the corner of Kenaston and Corden is bad. It's awful. That is the worst intersection I've come across so far.
What is going on? Like, what is going on in the city?
The city's falling apart. They've just abandoned all the infrastructure. It's okay. They've just given up. It's just a giant shrugging emoji is the city's response to all things infrastructure related at this point in time. And really, I give up.
I'm giving Chert Ferguson the winner on this one. Every time a pothole is filled, an angel gets its wings. Good reference. Good one.
That is a good one. That is a very good one. I want to say a big thank you to all of the sponsors of Illegal Curve. They make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club. Jay Farrow
Yes.
is at Rumors this week. They've added a special show late night on Thursday. That's the only show there's still tickets available for. If you haven't got them yet, go to Rumors this Thursday night to see Jay Farrow.
I've seen Jay Farrow at Rumors. He's awesome.
There you go. A few seats
Definitely
remaining.
go.
Online, rumorscomedyclub.com. Tell them that Illegal Curve sent you. Our friends at Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty. Congratulations to Dom. Betway, of course. They sponsor the game recap. Bernstein's Deli. You might need some soup. It's going to be cold again, apparently. Tough Duck. We're giving away toques left, right, and center. Boston Pizza. Could always use some pizza right after Passover. It's currently Passover, but, at the end of the week, if you need some pizza after Passover, Boston Pizza. Seagram's. Because if you've been watching this team this year, you might need to drink. Rolly's Transfer. I'm trying to think about Rolly's Transfer. Maybe somebody needs to get Ezzy and help get the piano off of Ezzy. Rolly's Transfer are the good folks who can do that. And of course,
Or just
Grid
get
Park.
you guys off of my back. I've been carrying you for 13 years.
Grid Park, if you want to park your car for any of those final home games, that's the best way to do it. Download the app. And yes, we saw the comments about one day us doing a live reenactment of the Grid Park ad. Maybe we'll do that before the end of the regular season. We'll see how
we are doing Shakespeare in the Park this June, so maybe we can somehow tie that in, right? We'll be doing King Lear, I believe, right, Drew?
That's right, yes. Which one of us is the king and which one of us is Lear? That's the question. In any event, support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. We'll be back on Thursday night after the Jets and the Hurricanes to break it all down, to have some more fun with all of our friends in the chat. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. There you go, Alan. Clean out the Jets' lockers with Rolly's Transfer. They can haul your stuff. Good thinking. I'm glad somebody is smarter than I am. There's actually more than just one person smarter than I am, but we appreciate the support anyways. Smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, leave us some comments, tell your friends, tell your family. The best place to be after each and every Winnipeg Jets game, and again, Saturday mornings, is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. For Dave Minuk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Until Thursday night, right around 8:30 p.m. or thereabouts, we wish you good night and good luck, and thanks for watching the Illegal Curve postgame show.